The word tissue is derived from a word meaning woven. This indicates the intimate structural and functional relationship that exists between the cells in a given tissue. Tissues are made up of a group of cells that have similar origins and serve a specific function in the body. The four tissue types are epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscle tissues, and nervous tissues. Most of your epithelium is considered epithelium proper, which refers to epithelium that lines your organs, body cavities, and your inner and outer surfaces. How are these different epithelial tissues named? Epithelial tissue has a first name and a last name. Epithelial tissue is named according to its layering, followed by the shape of the epithelial cells that make up that layer. So the first name of epithelial tissue tells us a little bit about the layers that make up that tissue. The first name of epithelial tissue is either going to be simple or stratified. When the tissue is composed of only one epithelial cell layer, we refer to this tissue as being simple. When epithelial tissue is composed of two or more layers, we refer to it as stratified. The word stratified means layered. The last name of our epithelial tissue is going to tell us about the shape of the epithelial cells that make up that tissue. There are three principal shapes of epithelial cells: squamous, cuboidal, and columnar. For example, a single layer of squamous epithelium would be called simple squamous epithelium. A single layer of cuboidal epithelium would be called simple cuboidal epithelium. And a single layer of columnar epithelium would be simple columnar epithelium. When a tissue is made up of more than one squamous epithelial cell layer, it is called stratified squamous epithelium. In the same way, when we have more than one cell layer of cuboidal epithelial cells, this is called stratified cuboidal epithelium. And a tissue that is made up of more than one layer of columnar epithelial cells would be called stratified columnar epithelium. Simple squamous epithelium. This tissue is made up of short, squashed cells with oval-shaped or ovoid nuclei that are also flattened and squashed. On a practical exam, sometimes you will see simple squamous epithelium as a slide that looks like this from a cheek swab. This slide is made by taking a toothpick and scraping the inside of the cheek and then placing it on a slide and staining it with hematoxylin and eosin. This creates one single layer of skin cells, or simple squamous epithelium. We also have simple squamous epithelium that lines the Bowman capsule in the kidney. The alveoli of the lungs, or alveolar sacs of the lungs, are also surrounded by simple squamous epithelium. This allows for gas exchange between the blood and the lungs. Here is Bowman's capsule, lined by simple squamous epithelium. These smaller circles are the alveoli of the lungs, which are surrounded by simple squamous epithelium. Here is a section of kidney showing two Bowman's capsules. surrounded by simple squamous epithelium. We also have simple squamous epithelium lining the uterine tube. Stratified squamous epithelium that lies in the inner surfaces of the body or in the orifices of the body are not keratinized. Keratinized epithelium is composed of numerous layers of dead squamous skin cells called corneocytes. Moist areas such as the oral cavity, nasal cavity, the rectum, and the vagina don't need this added protection from desiccation or drying out. Therefore, they tend not to be keratinized. This slide shows the non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium of the tongue. Stratified squamous epithelium that lines the outer surfaces of the body are keratinized. These are dead skin cells that cover the surface of the skin and provide added protection. Keratinized epithelium is composed of numerous layers of dead squamous skin cells called corneocytes. This tissue is found on the outer portions of the body. Simple cuboidal epithelium lines some of the body's renal tubules in the kidneys and glands. What are the identifying features? The cell shape in a cuboidal epithelium is square, typically as high as they are wide. Of course, they don't make perfect squares inside of our bodies. The cell locations includes the kidney tubules or renal tubules and glandular epithelial tissue. The best way to identify this tissue type is to look for the nucleus. The nucleus will be relatively large and circular and will be located in the center of these types of cells.
The nucleus.
Simple cuboidal epithelium is found in glands like the pancreas and the kidney or renal tubules, and also it can be found in the gonads covering the ovary and lining walls of seminiferous tubules in the testes. This tissue type is specialized for secretion and absorption. In the renal tubules, we can often find these in circular shapes. Cuboidal cells are specialized for secretion and absorption. Secretion is the process by which it releases substances into the surrounding environment, whereas absorption is absorbing or taking up substances from the surroundings or from the lumen. Cuboidal cells or simple cuboidal epithelium that is found in secretory tissues of the exocrine glands will have a secretory function. When this tissue type is found in the renal tubules of the kidneys or the pancreas or glandular ducts or reproductive tissues that secrete hormones, we find that it has an absorptive function. Stratified cuboidal epithelium is relatively rare to be found on a practical exam. It does exist, though. Stratified cuboidal epithelium forms protective surfaces of the glands, such as sweat glands, mammary glands, and salivary glands. Here we see stratified cuboidal epithelium lining the walls of the seminiferous tubules in the testes. This is where spermatozoa is born. Simple columnar epithelium is specialized for secretion in the digestive tract. The identifying features of simple columnar epithelium is the cell shape will be column-shaped or tall and rectangular. The cell location and size. The cell location and shape is going to be oval or stretched out vertically, and it will be located towards the basement membrane. Some of these tissues may also have goblet cells, but not all of them. The nucleus location is going to be nicely lined in a row towards this basement membrane. Simple columnar epithelia are found in the stomach, the small intestines, the large intestine, the rectum, the fallopian tubes, the endometrium, and respiratory bronchioles. Simple columnar epithelium is used to line digestive tracts. The simple columnar epithelium is specially designed for secretion and absorption of substances from the lumen of areas that get a lot of use. These cells are specially designed to withstand the wear and tear that comes from serving the busy digestive tract. Sometimes you will see one single layer of columnar epithelium, in which the nuclei are not nice and neatly organized towards the basement membrane. Instead, the nuclei, they're still stretched out vertically, but they will be at different levels within the cells. The cell shape is still column-shaped or tall and rectangular. Nonciliated pseudostratified columnar epithelium is found in the epididymis. Because the nuclei are at different levels in these types of cells and not neatly lined in a row towards the basement membrane, it gives them the appearance of being stratified, but this tissue is not stratified. Here we see nonciliated pseudostratified columnar epithelium in the epididymis. Usually, when you see pseudostratified columnar epithelium, it will be ciliated. We find pseudostratified columnar epithelium lining the respiratory tract, as well as the esophagus. This type of tissue has column-shaped cells which are tall and rectangular, with cilia or hair-like projections on the apical surface. This lines the airways of the respiratory tract. The nuclei of this tissue will be oval or stretched out vertically, and the nuclei will be at different levels in the cells, not neatly lined up in a row, as we see with stratified columnar epithelium. Ciliated pseudostratified columnar epithelium lines the tracts of the body. In the trachea, we see ciliated pseudostratified columnar epithelium, as well as hyaline cartilage of the cartilaginous rings of the trachea. We also have stratified columnar epithelium. This is a very rare tissue type and usually will not show up on a practical exam. Transitional epithelium. Transitional epithelium is found in tissues that stretch, like the bladder. Here we see a definite change in shape of cells as you continue towards the apical surface. Thank you for watching.